The 2000s, a magical time, a simpler time. Let's reach into the deepest, most nostalgic parts of our maybe millennial, maybe Gen Z brains and reminisce on some of the things from the 2000s that you loved and lost. This is a memory that will forever stick out in my head. Smensels. For those who aren't fortunate enough to know, these are scented pencils, and man, at my school, these were a social credit system. Every once in a while, Smensels would be for sale at the office at my elementary school, and they sold really fast. If you could get your hands on a root beer scented one, you were the coolest kid in class. Sometimes we would just sit and sniff the pencils instead of working, until we fought over them and somebody got stabbed by a freshly sharpened pencil. There were so many memorable things about school, from the best thing about school to the worst. Does anyone remember these? I could not stand these things, man. I remember my little kid brain being in so much pain having to do this thing like 3 times in a row, thinking I was going to snap in half. Of course, afterwards, all the kids in class would compare their results and, let's just say I lied. After PE, you would go to class and see this beautiful, glorious machine. If you walked into a classroom and saw one of these bad boys, then you knew it was going to be a good day. It didn't matter what we watched, learning on that little box TV was infinitely more exciting than hearing from my teacher. Mostly because the lights would be off and I could throw things at my friends. After a hard day of studying, if I was lucky, I would head down to the library to witness the Scholastic Book Fair. The Scholastic Book Fair was the holy grail. They used to sell so many great books like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Captain Underpants, Animorphs, and so much more. I remember I found this awesome Pokemon book at the Scholastic Book Fair when I was in elementary school. The only problem was that I needed to ask my mom for money in order to buy it. Until that happened, to make sure I could have that book, I took one of the few copies and hid it behind a random stack of books on the bottom row of the shelves. My greatest trick of all. School was nostalgic, but so were things at home. One of my absolute favorite things to do with my best friend after school and on the weekends was to show off and trade our Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
It's very cool, baby, but that's nothing. Look at this.
That is really nice. Nice.
We used to have the little sleeve pages and binders just to make sure everyone knew that we meant business. I also miss really badly the shows on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon from my childhood. Ed, Edd n Eddy, Invader Zim, The Fairly Odd Parents, and obviously SpongeBob. My wife actually didn't grow up watching SpongeBob, so all of my everyday references are lost on her. We decided to fix that and are watching it now, and it still holds up. Lastly, the best of all, the video games. Does anyone remember the Windows Space Pinball game? I remember playing this on my dad's laptop and being totally wowed by the graphics and sound effects. Not only that, but these. These were my childhood. The hours that I put into Pokemon Emerald on the Game Boy Advance as a kid are unholy. One of the funniest memories that I have was always having to turn an overhead light on in the car at night on the way back from my grandparents' house to play Pokemon because, the screen didn't light up back then. And the GameCube. I'll never forget my sister and I feeling so thankful and excited opening up a GameCube on Christmas morning. We got Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I thought, after watching my dad play Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64 for so many hours, that it was amazing that I could finally play as Bowser. Let me know what the most nostalgic parts of your childhood are in the comments below. Thanks for watching.